Welcome back, everybody. It's time for grand finals here at the Breakout Series Event number 2. I am EGP Wonder Chef, joined by Cameron Davis, and we are down to our final 2 teams to see who will be taking the most of the points to qualify in the Pilot Academy.
Yeah, and IQ, they just came off of a very, very, very brutal run alongside Last Second. And Mafty, they've just been waiting, and every time, no matter what team you are, no matter how dominating your previous victory was, you go up against Mafty, they have yet to lose a map. They have yet to they've barely ever lost an engagement. They've barely ever lost a team fight. So they're gonna have to somehow IQ find some extra gear to click into to head up against Mafty. But there is always going to be that chance.
Yeah, this is going to be a real trial here. This is very similar to what we saw in our previous broadcast, our previous tournament in the first Breakout Series event, where we actually saw IQ go down in 3rd place, so they did not earn their rematch against Mafty. This time around, they did earn it. They earned that spot, and they definitely want to be able to prove themselves. I mean, they've already proven themselves by getting this far, but Mafty is a titan right now. They are unstoppable.
Yeah, it's a best of 5 series, not a best of 3. It is a full best of 5. We're gonna have those map picks and bans up when they are ready. But this is going to be another long one. This is going to be potentially even longer than the series that IQ just came off of. These are, I mean, you know, compared to other games, these are shorter maps, but still in the context of how fast and how like quick a lot of these fights can be, like, and how on you need to stay from map start to map finish. This is going to be a continual test of endurance. We're going to be going into those real championship rounds toward the end of this.
Especially for IQ, but let's see exactly what they are picking as far as map picks and bans, because this is going to be very difficult for them to keep their energy up through the longer maps. Like you said, they've fought so hard in that last set. Quarry will be our first ban of the day. Same thing with Thermal Plant, so one of the longer maps maybe versus one of the for sure shorter maps, both out of the map pool.
Yeah, what's the first one getting picked? It's going to be Underground Command Center. Not a map that we've seen it a few times, but not too aggressively. And it's going to be Mountain R&D Lab, so we are going to get a domination map in this set. It's only going to be one because Thermal Plant was banned, but we at least get that one.
And then, of course, being a 3 out of 5 set, that does mean that there are going to be less bans overall. So Colony Trading Post is going to be our last guaranteed map, which is very cool to see, as usual. We got a lot more of it this weekend than the previous broadcast, but that's where it could potentially all end. However, once again, 3 out of 5, which means that Harbor City will be 4, and our decider will be the Classic in Flak Fort, which we've seen a lot more coming into today than we saw before. But I would say we're overall pretty open maps.
So this is the set that we're going to be playing. While that happens, we do have an MVP vote up and ready for you guys to all vote. The command in chat is !MVP. It's going to be the LAN Fest player of the weekend. We're not involved. It's all you guys. See who it is.
Yeah, can't blame us. I know that Casino actually won both of the MVPs. We got 2 MVPs. There is going to be a production MVP as well, with the rest of the production, aside from us, is going to be deciding one. And I think Casino won multiple last time, but Casino no longer in the tournament. We're definitely going to have a new MVP. We've got a few. I mean, honestly, it's always the most difficult thing because all of these players are stars, especially on a lot of these teams that are getting further in the bracket. Every single one of, I would say, the members in the top 3 teams, especially this weekend, have all had MVP moments, game-winning moments, game-changing plays. So it's always impossible. MVP, to me, all of you out there, is that cheesy? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But it doesn't matter how you got to this point. Doesn't matter how strong you were or how hard of a run it was. It's all at 0 right now between Mafty and IQ. Whoever wins 3 maps here is going to win this event, is going to win Breakout Series Event number 2. You can have a number of MVP performances leading up to this point. It's about delivering now at this time. Who is going to do it? We're going to go into map number 1 the second that it is ready.
And I'm very excited. One of the things, especially too, that we see in Gundam Evolution tournaments in general, is that as teams play over the course of a tournament, they do level up a lot, and it's a lot of that has to do with how new of a game this is. Right? There's still so much experience to be had for every single player within the game. So even if IQ did go down in a pretty tough match earlier, they've got a great chance here as we go into the grand finals.
Here it is, map number 1. Let's see who takes it. Who's going to get that lead? Who is going to start off strong? Mafty versus IQ. Gundam Evolution. Let's go.
And we are going to see, of course, there are a few different areas that have been rotating out on the side of Mafty. It does look like Carl Sagan is going to be in once again this time around. And on the other side, we've got, I think, pretty much all the same throughout the entire weekend for IQ. They've been a really solid crew. There's a good reason why they've been making it this far in all of these tournaments. I'd love to continue to see them grow. I think they're one of the best for a good reason. But at the start of this map, there's, of course, a chance for the potential use of the Gym Sniper. Amano, one of the best snipers that we have. Carl Sagan, one of the best snipers that we have. But I don't know if we're going to see the double Gym Sniper.
Yeah, Mafty still have the time to lock in whatever they want to lock in. Looking at the side of IQ, Chaotic is going to be on that Gundam Exia instead of the Barbatos. You mostly see Exia on this map, I imagine, because of the angles. You want to have the ability for at least the long-range poke. And then, of course, a mono on that Gym Sniper. It's all pretty standard for this map. We'll see if Mafty are going to mirror that in the next few seconds.
Carl Sagan, of course, has the ability to pick almost any suit in the entire game and do quite well, but we have seen the Ashmar earlier. Here we go, high ground being held immediately by that Dom, by Exponent. Just at least going to be setting up maybe some of those mines, but we'll see how the push goes. It looks like a pretty intense retreat off the bat from IQ. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
they're not going to hold on to the high ground. It's all about holding on to that waypoint and using that as a bit of a barrier between the fight. You're going to see some shots come out from Focus and Devotion. They're just immediately pushing in onto the waypoint. A lot of damage coming in. You can see on the top, and the tank is already gone. The waypoint has already been captured, and IQ are already scrambling to try and retreat.
Oh my gosh, what a quick push that just completely worked out. There wasn't even like a huge pick that particularly made that happen. It was just the focus damage of every single person on the team in that team fight. And look at this, we're already seeing the push up to point B. Carl Sagan is very, very, effective in that range, in that choke point with the napalm grenades, but the bomb will go down at A.
And Exponent's needs to get back onto the site. Mr. Big Large needs to get back on the site. Saris has also been taken down. This Mega Charge has been activated so quickly, and the people on the side of IQ just keep dying. They cannot recover and get to position to try and mount a retake. Mafty is giving them no space in order to try and stabilize their footing. Blue Jay is taken very, very low, flies away, but flies away to his death. No revive going to happen there. This zoning is absolutely ridiculous from the side of Mafty.
They are just 100% holding on. We've seen a lot of no death gains from a lot of these players, or just minimum 1 death, and it's looking like we could get something similar. Focus taking down Chaotic, Ender's taking down, pretty much everybody all in a row here. That is going to be nearly an entire team wipe on the side of IQ. Chaotic is still up, Mr. Big Large running back, but at this point I think they just have to return, try to hold this choke point for B as we see the immediate rush from Mafty.
Doesn't matter how fast it was so effective that when IQ got their team together to mount a push, Mafty had the funnels from David ready to stop it. And they have 5 minutes to hit objective number 2.
5 minutes, and on top of that, they're going to have a pretty free take on this waypoint. There's a little bit of a challenge, but I think it's mostly for harass. There's not going to be a full commit because there are still some players respawning. Chaotic barely getting out of that situation, but oh my gosh, almost got picked. The super napalm is going to come out. That's a pretty strange place to throw it. It might have bounced a strange angle, but it's not going to get any kills.
Hey, the napalm is more for the zoning than it is for the kills. Mafty just trying to get close, and they get the Mega Charge activation onto the A site. X-Men is trying to clear them away, but taken very low from some nasty shots coming out from Arrow. And he's being isolated off to the side. And no, 180 spin by the Gundam and has the time to get the revive on a fallen teammate as well. 40 seconds left, and IQ need to do something huge right now.
Amano getting a few nice picks from that high ground that is going to build enough space to at least get the disarm on the Mega Charge. But again, 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. This is going to be, and you're going to have to hold so well. This is tough too, especially on this point, because there's 2 different clear lines of attack on this point, either through the right side, the waypoint side, or through this main door that we're seeing a lot of these players at right now.
Yeah. A big advantage right now for IQ is that they have a lot of G maneuvers at the ready, whereas Mafty used a lot in the previous fight, the previous push, where you hear a lot of them being activated at the moment. Amano coming up huge with the Hades, but David answering back with the funnels of his own, and Amano is taken out. It doesn't matter how many G maneuvers are being used. Mafty is winning this team fight. Focus pushing on and being linked up with the Methus for that healing, and it looks like they want a push onto the A side to get the Mega Charge activation.
3 minutes remaining.
Oh, and we did hear another G maneuver be activated. It looks like it was a Trans Am from Chaotic, just trying to stop this, but not to any avail. That is going to be the plant on A, and now they're going to be down resources and players as we see 2 other suits get picked off. Amano and Blue Jay both needing to respawn to get this counter push.
I thought Mafty had like no G maneuvers and they were able to charge them up and suddenly have G maneuvers again. So I don't care that Devotion and Focus are down to 0%. They're gonna have it soon enough. Sarah swings on in with the funnels of his own, but immediately eliminated. He drops into a crossfire that was set up by Mafty to try and continue and hold this point. Not able to create a lot of space before he goes down. And we're down to 20 seconds for IQ. Are gonna be ending round number 1 with a big loss.
Ooh, Amano pushing in first, just has to at this point, and that's really tough because that means 4 members are going to go down. Chaotic going down as the 5th, and Mr. Big Large the only member left up on the side of IQ. And there's, especially with that Super Napalm, just adding insult to injury, no way to get that disarm. A solid first round from Mafty.
I'm really scared that this is gonna be what every single round looks like, that every single map looks like. It seems that whenever you see Mafty, the worst that they perform is needing a second push.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if even that, right? A lot of the times it's just all the way through in one just death ball, basically. Oh, they're just so strong. It's almost impossible to even say, like, well, maybe you should hold your G maneuvers, or maybe you should be pushing through different angles. It's just like, well, I don't even know what you do against a team with this much talent in every single slot.
It's not even the DPS with the main damage numbers on the side of Mafty. It's the tank. It's the Sazabi. That just shows how strong they are as a full unit. Like, the damage is being spread across everyone. No one is dying. Everyone is staying alive. They're able to space out their engagement, space out their damage separation. Who goes in, who then cycles out.
You just activated the chat's copy pasta powers by mentioning how much damage David did, but that is actually incredible. David has really been such a huge key element along with every single other player, but David just gets so much damage, especially like you're mentioning with the funnels. The funnel usage is not easy with Sazabi. Like, being able to choose it in the right time where you're not putting yourself in too much danger, but you're in enough danger that they're actually going to be able to effectively get that damage, and it's very impressive on the side of David.
Yeah, trust. The amount of times that I have activated my funnels, dropped into the middle of a team, and then immediately died, it's a lot. It's a lot of times. So knowing that spacing, knowing how to be as effective as possible while staying alive to keep the funnels up and stay effective. But right now, Mafty now on the defense. They're continuing to hold this high ground. They're not backing away. They're doing a lot of damage before they do so. David finds the first kill onto Cyril at Sazabi for Sazabi, but Amano is here at the Gym Sniper trying to answer back.
Yeah, double Gym Sniper this time around. That's a big difference from before. David with the super backwards flights. That was pretty cool. Just to get back into the safe positioning. You don't see the axe used that way a lot. It's usually directly at them. Hold W. Oh, but the pick on Carl Sagan from Amano is going to slow this, or not slow this down, slow his defense down, potentially get the push.
They can't push over the high ground, though, because there's very little cover once they're on the waypoint itself. You can see the crossfire there. Exponent is dropped, but the waypoint has still been claimed by IQ. Chaotic takes a lot of damage, has to fall away. Spots arrow there off on the side, where Carlos can now respawn, trying to come back into the fight. Mafty is holding on for now. They're not giving up too much ground despite losing the waypoint.
Yeah, this is surprising that we're seeing such a forward hold still. Carl Sagan is going to get the pick on Blue Jay, though. That is going to be a pretty close respawn. Let's just say literally where he actually died. But, whoa, this might be a retake. 3 picks on the side. Oh my gosh, a mono popping off. Not enough to redefend the waypoint, but still, we get to see how strong of a gym sniper he is.
Yeah, I mean, Amano gets 2 picks. Carl Sagan comes back and gets 2 of his own. So it all gets traded up even in the end. Mafty even pushed forward past the waypoint. Not going to hold on once again. It's way too easy for the attackers to reclaim that high ground, but it's all about stalling out just for those few seconds. Get that damage for the little bit of extra G maneuver charge as well.
And they're holding the high ground. Amano trying to get that first pick. Saris in a great position for offense. But only Carl Sagan, actually with the G maneuver, popping it immediately just to get that view, that immediate view of where everybody's pushing from. It's going to make the offense a lot more difficult when people are pre-firing you. Oh, and from the air, can we see an aerial kill? Not quite, almost.
Hey, it deals the damage and it pushes IQ away, so they're continuing to push IQ back into essentially their spawn, giving them very little space to deal with. Chaotic goes down to David, and Carl Sagan is there to confirm that. Lands another shot onto Blue Jay. No unit is safe when Carl Sagan has the big green gun in his hand.
We need to see all the 1v1s. We need to see the Barbados 1v1s between the previous 2 teams, the Sniper 1v1. Oh, between these 2 teams, that's a pick for sure. Thanks for proving my point, Carl Sagan. But the G maneuver on the other side activated immediately goes to nothing.
Oh my god, stay on this guy. Observers, stay on Carl Sagan. He's hitting some amazing shots. IQ have been able to reclaim the waypoint. I see another G maneuver going on in, but it's still David only getting the kills in the kill feed with his own funnels at the ready, tethered to the Methus as well for the healing to stay alive, and they get the waypoint back. It's 1:20 on the clock, and IQ have made no ground in this round.
I mean, 1:20, not only to take this waypoint, but then to actually push and get something to stick inside on a pretty tough to attack bomb site, 2 tough to attack bomb sites. But right now, I mean, they're just in front of the first wall. They need to break through 2 at minimum. And they're still just going to be regrouping, taking this high ground. This is maybe their final push.
They have to take the waypoint and then arm the mega charge. It's going to be a very, very hard finish to the round. Chaotic activates the Trans Am, tries to isolate Arrow. Arrow dashes away, stays alive as the ranged player. You want to do that, but Arrow with the Hades activated cannot get anything out of this. Chaotic, he goes down. Arrow is going for more, but finally gets eliminated, but is getting revived. So it's still Mafty coming up with all of the kills in this fight, despite the G maneuver activation on the side of IQ. They're not getting any ground.
Carl Sagan with 2 picks and a revive in that single fight, and a second revive, just a manual one this time. That is going to just, I think, is impossible. I think it's actually going to be GG. 10 seconds to get to the site. Nobody's close enough at this point. They're just playing for funsies. That is going to be a guaranteed map number 1 here for the side of Mafty, not even fully giving up the waypoint.
This is a best of 5, and IQ just got hit with a sledgehammer from Mafty. To stay mentally present in this, after they just fought thick and thin through last second, going to essentially 4 maps in a best of 3 series. Again, don't ask how it happened. Go back and watch if you missed it. I am worried about IQ's physical and mental endurance in this.
I mean, I think playing 1 round against that would make me tired. And actually, I ran into kind of an old version of some of those players on a team once in ranked. And yeah, trust me, it is exhausting to even play against them in 1 game, let alone at the end of a tournament. Yeah. And you have this much of a road to climb. So I totally agree. IQ, they're going to need to regroup and find something, because that was just an unbreakable wall, truly.
We go to, if I'm not mistaken, we go to Mountain R&D next. So we have a domination map, which at the very least they're more warmed up on, because they played a lot of that game mode in the end of the previous set. I think that's also going to be where we really see Mr. Big Large, who is kind of becoming the main carry for IQ. We're seeing Mr. Big Large be able to step up and deal the damage necessary for the rest of the team to follow up on. The problem is Mafty, it seems to be very, very impossible for them to give anything away. 4 maps remain in this best of 5 series. Who's going to take home the win? Will Mafty clean sweep or IQ map to come back? Going to have to wait till after this break to watch.
Map 2 of Grand Finals between Mafty and IQ is here on Mountain R&D. I'm EGP Wonder Chef, joined by, oh my gosh, sorry, Cameron Davis. I bit my tongue. Every time I try to say my caster's codename, I bite my tongue.
Wow.
Every time. No, it's really funny.
It's not that you forgot my name,
No, this is funny. Anybody who's been watching will know that I do that with Jamerson all the time. I go, and then I bite my tongue. It's weird. Okay. Anyway, back to Grand Finals. I swear I didn't forget your name. But we are here. All right. Here's 2 names I definitely won't forget. Mafty and IQ. They have been fighting really tough this entire broadcast, both yesterday and today, this entire tournament. But Mafty has had, I want to say, a little bit of an easier time going on just in these matches, but IQ has been proven to be very strong on this map in particular. They are very strong at holding this high ground, especially with Mr. Big Large as MVP.
Especially with Mr. Big Large here in the sky. He gets, actually not even the first drop. Good damage, but it's going to be Amano with the first kill onto Arrow. Hellrider trading there. And Chaotic with another kill as well. So IQ are getting a man advantage to take control of this high ground, which they will be able to then flex into a initial site control as A is unlocking in just a few moments.
Yeah, the high ground, as we mentioned before, I'm just going to say it again for anybody not as familiar. A high ground on Mountain R&D is huge because you can jump from one high ground on any of the outside points to any of the other points immediately, within literally like 2 seconds. So if you can hold the high ground, it's huge. But look at this high ground to high ground battle. This is something we haven't seen attempted in a while, but it looks like it's going very well for Mafty.
Oh, IQ had the site. Oh, Mafty weren't able to fully reclaim it though, so it's still charging up on the side of IQ. It was a really good side angle push that you called out for Mafty to get that high ground, and yes, they finally do have the site. They're able to get up to 22%, which will basically tie it up if IQ don't come back, but it looks like IQ are setting up to control B, as that is going to be the next site.
Now, not going from A to C to A to C means that there's a really good chance at a shakeup. Of course, they are going to be pretty tied up going into this, but at the very minimum, going from this side B, once it's over to the next one, is going to be a huge, I guess, task to be able to go back up above ground, even if you do have that aerial mobility. And it looks like off the bat, Arrow getting some picks, but oh my gosh, the slam.
Yeah, Chaotic going in, but Mafty just flooded from the high ground onto the low ground. IQ didn't have much setup at all. The punch comes in from Mr. Big Lord, gets a couple of kills with it, and the follow-up from the Sasabi does drop Arrow on the Pale Rider. Chaotic doesn't hit anything with the longsword stun, but it's still space being created for IQ to take this site that's about to unlock.
And X-Minute is so low right now. This is a scary situation. No healers around. Hey, Methods, turn around, help me. And that is actually what's going to happen in the end. But now, how do you approach this as Mafty? Because you need to get down here without choke pointing yourself in any one of these little hallways. It looks like they're going to be approaching from the high ground.
Focus with a nice punch kill onto X-Minute to open things up and try and retake this site. Chaotic misses with the stun once again, but it's still trying to create space to keep Mafty off of B. They're getting so close to reclaiming it, however. But Saris, Amano, they're getting the kills to remain control of B. IQ are staying in the advantage right now. Amano with the Hades unlocked, able to activate it if he wants to do so. But with A about to be the next target in a couple of moments, Amano going to be, intelligently so, holding on to that G maneuver.
Ooh, just a sniping focus over the entire level, basically. Just trying to get a few more hits in there. Ashimar does have a pretty big head, so you can sometimes just get those random chunk shots. But at the minimum, this is going to be a really nice positioning. It do be a big head, for sure.
Back to A is the next site. Both teams with high ground, but IQ just a little bit closer is on the site itself, but do not count Mafty out. And oh, David trying to fight a side angle. Heavy chunky damage onto Chaotic, forcing Chaotic to fall away. Devotion, you can see with the Magnum at the ready. Big Large swinging up from the side. That flank player, but he's going to be caught out because they're going to be moving directly away from him. Devotion with the Bean Magnum trying to get some good damage on Ashimar.
Ooh, there was actually a self-kill on accident from the Methis, and there wasn't as much mileage out of that Unicorn G maneuver. At least it didn't seem like it. Maybe it chunked a few of the members, but definitely no confirmed kills at the minimum. And now we're going to hold this low ground, as this is a huge lead, honestly, from IQ. This is great to see based on what we've seen in the previous map, but it is so hard to fight through that little spot if you've got the right shield in front.
Even with the G maneuvers, IQ have been able to hold on. Mafty wasn't able to really break anything up, but there is a Screaming Nimbus at the ready. And Exponent finds an angle onto multiple members of Mafty. That's the G maneuvers taken out. Arrow might be trying to come in with the Hades, and they actually were able to reclaim the site, Mafty. Somehow under IQ's and my own noses, but IQ trying to answer back, but Arrow dealing some damage in the middle of an entire team. Pale Rider can only stay alive for so long.
Oh, they do manage to retake it, but there's just not quite enough time to actually get the win off of it. Now it's going to be B, a very chaotic point for potentially the end of the game here. And honestly, just even getting around here for IQ feels like it's going to be a huge win as far as getting that momentum back. So they just need to take this B point, just play safe, but they have to be aware that there are so many G maneuvers on the side of Mafty that they might just lose this one.
A good dodge there. Arrow has his own Hades activated. Doing a lot of damage. Arrow, David, Enders, all in the kill feed. They're going to be taking B, and they're at the very least going to keep IQ from winning off of this point for now. But IQ, if they can then restabilize, re-ready up, the problem is they've used more G maneuvers. So the advantage that Mafty had in that particular resource is going to be even further heavy in that direction, as Enders and Focus are holding on to theirs, and no one on IQ has theirs ready.
I think one of the biggest fears here, too, is that Carl Sagan, just landing a few more shots, will be back at that butterfly. There is no counter butterfly. Of course, we've seen Chaotic be able to counter it very, very well with the G maneuver of Barbados, but if you win the race here as Carl Sagan, then you're going to have it with no true counter.
Yeah. Uj here on the high ground, doing some heavy splash damage.
Ooh,
a few seconds left, so it is going to stay on this site. An attempt dropped down from the entirety of IQ, but again, Mafty just immediately blow them apart. Their control of the low ground with the crossfires. Somehow IQ was able to get the site, but immediately reclaimed once again by Mafty. Whoever can hold on to this is going to win this round.
And there's only a few seconds left. I don't even know if they're going to be able to get back in time to add extra time, really. They need to get in. They need to use that Screaming Nimbus, but there's just not even time. You just use it to get there faster. That makes sense. You're going to get on site just barely. Oh, they captured it. They managed to capture it somehow. They just walked on point, and it's theirs. That's going to add so much time for them. If they can get everybody else off site, this is going to be their round, but there's going to be both ways, the kills and the retake from Mafty, but there's only one player left up on the side of IQ. They almost took it back, but 99 to 99%, Mafty taking that one.
It was a trap. They backed away from the site, Mafty. They backed away. They let IQ take it because they had the Moonbeam Butterfly and the Beam Magnum G maneuvers at the ready to clear it all in the matter of seconds. And that's exactly what happened. And Mafty are now up 1-0 in Mountain R&D Lab. Good damage across the board for a lot of members, but it's unsurprisingly favoring Mafty just a little bit.
I mean, I cannot talk enough about how strong that usage of the G maneuver from Devotion was. That Unicorn G maneuver is just so deadly in those tight little hallways, but especially just the way that it was used right there to add damage onto people already being damaged by that butterfly G maneuver. That was for sure a game-winning and potentially a tournament-winning type of play, as they're now going to be up a game and a round when it looked like IQ had so much control previously.
Yeah. In IQ, they're looking good still. And they're pushing Mafty to the limit. That's the most that you could say out of any team so far. But can they actually hit that next level? B is once again going to be the first sight of this round. And already Amano's taken low, Sarah's taken low, Chaotic is taken low. Already Mafty seem to have an advantage, but the first kill is going to go the way of IQ.
Ooh, but just trading back and forth. This is, as usual, a brawl down here in the halls of B. It does look like Mafty actually might lose a few more members. However, X-Minute being the one to go down is just very, very difficult because you have to hide behind some sort of shield or you just get destroyed at these choke points. And we are going to see, though, the initial take from IQ once again taking an early lead.
Chaotic pushing that high ground player of Mafty away. And it's Sasabi on Sasabi fight. X-Minute just barely wins it out with the help of Saris.
With the help of Saris' turret, even. That turret actually chunks people a little bit more than it seems like. It's a little bit of a nasty, cheeky little thing, but they are holding on for a really long time. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if we didn't even see another push coming out of Mafty, if they just pre-positioned over towards C, because at this point, again, you're only going to get maybe 8% if you successfully push.
Carl Sagan there with the throw, with the invulnerability, does dodge the Barbatos stun. Is going to be pushing forward and trying to retake this area. Arrow with the great damage coming out. Doesn't even need the Hades to spray all of that Pale Rider damage onto the opposition. And so Mafty were able to reclaim B even just for a few moments, get 8% themselves, but everyone needs to reset as we go over to C. Oh!
Oh no, that's a rough place to get down because somebody's gonna have to really full commit to going the low path if they want to get the revive on you. And still, though, you know, they're doing okay. There's a lot of members of IQ here on this high ground. There's a lot of big picks. Carl Sagan, of course, taking out at least one, but this is going to be still good positioning, I think, overall for IQ.
A lot of G maneuvers are ready for IQ, so they could use them to try and take this site. The problem is Mafty aren't that far behind, so it would only give them the advantage. But hey, you got to use your resources eventually at some point, right? Mr. Big Large still trying to make it large here on the high ground, is able to spot an individual player of Mafty. Going to try and keep him isolated, but at some point is going to want to turn attention back to the main force.
Oh, and that time it was Focus with the huge punch, punching at least, I think, 2 or 3 players off of the high ground, and that was a great follow-up from the side of Mafty. You're going to take almost every single one of them out, retake that point. You're going to take their first, I would say, full objective hold, or near to full objective hold of this particular round, and it's not quite going to tie things up, but they're at least going to be able to hold this high ground until it changes to B and choose how they approach.
Immediately dropping down because they spot out that IQ aren't really going to be fighting for C. They're fighting over for B. Amano rushes forward, has the Hades activated, dealing heavy damage, getting a lot of kills here, and at least trying to clear some space for that B take once it does unlock in 25 seconds. He wants more. He wants to try and find Devotion. Is able to get him right before the Hades goes down, turns around, and continues to spray Hellfire into the side of Mafty. In 15 seconds, though, B is going to unlock, and that is going to be enough time for Mafty to respawn and come back in, and they've gained a few G maneuvers of their own in that time.
At least this should probably be a first pickup here for the site for IQ, but like you said, everybody's back, and all for that one G maneuver, and in fact, maybe it's not going to be quite as easy. Mafty taking the first pick here with Enders using that Screaming Nimbus to push everybody out of position, and maybe even getting the pick on Mr. Big Large at the very minimum, getting that main sort of center stage positioning, which is so important to holding B, and this is almost guaranteed going to tie things up as far as percentage.
Yeah, with Devotion, with the being Magnum at the ready, we've seen how easily that G maneuver can clear space in this lower site. So IQ, it's going to be a hard push if they want to take it, but they're going to go for it anyway. Sazabi up first, but immediately taken out. Focus with the punch onto Saris, and then Ender's there with the follow-up.
Focus has been landing such amazing punches, and it's leading to this great team fight here. Amano, the only one basically left on that point, getting taken down. And more importantly than losing that point, that means that Amano's not going to be back in time to start fighting for this high ground at C, which is already going to change over to. It does look like at least most of IQ will be there, but getting your Pale Rider up there is huge. And look at that, they just did not have enough damage up there.
Immediately spotting Mr. Big Large as well, trying to isolate him, forcing him to run away. Amano's trying to swing him from the side to give some supporting damage. Arrow taken very, very low, but not removed just yet. Mafty still have the unit advantage as Mr. Big Large is back in spawn. IQ are waiting for him to get back up on his feet as they push towards C. It's very close, it's virtually tied. Chaotic trying to get initial positioning, but forced immediately to fall away.
And this is, again, so close. The take into the take. We see the butterfly. Carl Sagan's going to take out at least 2 members, X-Men and Chaotic. And in fact, another member of IQ is going to fall. And this is definitely going to be the final spot. So 4 members, 5 members going down from IQ. They have one opportunity to regroup here and try to take this back, but they're losing time. They cannot waste any.
Really good G maneuver usage from both the Sazabi as well as the turn A, but can they hold on to it without those resources available anymore? Arrow is being a one-man army here off on the side, being a big distraction while the rest of Mafty is holding the fort. But Chaotic is here to try and retake C, taken down very, very low, forced to use his longsword to try and get a stun and at least create some space, and they're able to take C after all of that. IQ are still in the fight here, but can they hold on to it and match?
Oh yeah, you can see X-Men going down, but this looks like it's just going to be a skirmish. David taking out 2 members, Focus as well, and Carl Sagan. That's going to be almost a full team wipe and a guaranteed second round, second map for Mafty. They are now just 1 map away from becoming our grand champions.
A 2-0 in-map scoreline for a 2-0 lead right now in the grand finals.
Yeah, and
IQ, they are an incredibly good team, but Mafty are just that much betterer.
They are the betterest, right? At least so far in this set. I do feel though like IQ put up more of a fight than anybody's put up against anybody or against any Mafty version in this previous round. This is as close as we've seen anybody to actually making them bleed. They definitely made them bleed. They got it down to just a few percentage in pretty much every single round on that map. So at least whatever's happening with them, it's working out really, really well, whatever changes they've made, but they've only got 1 more opportunity. I mean, hopefully for them 3 more, but at least their final chance here to stay alive in the tournament. We're going to be moving to map number 3 after we come back from this short break.
LANFest is community. LANFest builds and supports gaming communities to support charity. We have more than 25,000 attendees and 400 volunteers across 18 chapters that span 3 countries. LANFest is charity. Charity is at the core of what LANFest is. We've raised more than $1 million for charities nationwide. We support food banks, veterans, animals, hospitals, and so much more. LANFest is gaming. Come join LANFest.
Here we are, map number 3. Is this the beginning of IQ's reverse sweep? In the best of 5 series, they cannot lose anything else at this point on. We are at the Colony Trading Point. Post! Wow, okay. Oh, man. Listen, that just shows how exciting that this whole engagement is, that I am losing my words because I'm frazzled. I am watching anything and everything. And IQ are making Mafty work for it, but it's do or die.
You know, I'm almost just even surprised that we get to see this level. This would be a really cool place to end it. Of course, the newest map in Season 2 of Gundam Evolution, but here we go. Starting off on the offense, Mafty is going to be pushing pretty heavily for that waypoint as usual, as we've seen these teams do. The defending team, IQ, will just be holding mostly on point, and this is where the offense is decided.
Not a lot of pressure on the waypoint being held by IQ. It's going to be all that bridge, and immediately you can see Mafty swinging around the side, trying to find the multiple angles. It's a bit of a run to go across and for that little window behind where IQ are currently holding. But if they're able to get there without losing anyone and keep sort of get a nice crossfire setup, it could be absolutely huge, but they're not even waiting for that. The damage is already coming out from Devotion and other members of Mafty. You can see the damage numbers, just the health bars on IQ, smaller and smaller as time goes by.
Yeah, they're just getting just picked down, and the thing is they don't have a unicorn themselves, so you can only heal 1 unit at a time, and that's going to be 2 picks on the side of IQ. Now 4 of them down. This is going to be a definite plant. They look like they're choosing to plant on A. The full team kill, just hunting down the rest of the members of IQ. They're already moving forward. They're holding a forward position here just to defend this high ground. This is looking disgusting already.
Like every other Mafty game that you see, it's like a wall, a dam. The second a little hole breaks through, the entire water comes rushing on in. You give them a moment, you give them a single small opportunity, they're going to make the most of it, and it usually ends in a Sight Mega Charge arming. Can IQ try and come back, but already the damage onto X-Men and already the damage on the tank is going to make it hard to sort of break through the initial wave. But Amano and Chaotic, they are up close already. David holding the high ground angle, holding the high ground area, going to force them to stay put on the bridge.
They've got one final push here. X-Men is going to lead the charge, but only at 50% HP just going into this, and it looks like everybody on the backline is going to melt immediately. Focus taking out 2. David Nender's cleaning up the rest of them, and now this is going to be a quick push down to this waypoint. This can be one of the tougher waypoints to take, but with so many members down already, the stagger might give them enough time.
Already there seems to be a couple of defensive members here. Focus with the firebomb, deals some damage. It's going to be him taken out by the opposing firebomb of Mr. Big Large. David, though, with his funnels activated, clearing the space, dealing heavy damage, forcing Chaotic away. And that's going to be the waypoint taken. The respawns, a lot of them are here for IQ, but they're going to have to ready up. You already see the mines placed by Blue Jay, but the attack has already arrived at their door.
Ooh, this is already a back foot situation for IQ. This is a very, very difficult spot to actually fully hold, though. We'll see which bomb site we decide to plant it. It's probably going to be B if we can actually get this down. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a guaranteed plant on B with 2 members down from IQ already, and now they can just retreat to this high ground or hold a bunch of different angles from the low ground, especially with this rotating door that they're just so hard to fight. It looks like the high ground will be retaken. Arrow with that Hades, and oh, the Trans Am from Chaotic actually is maybe their best chance to counter that.
G maneuvers to be activated all across the board. Amano with the Hades up and running, taking very, very low, 26 HP, and runs into an opposing Gundam, gets taken out. Oh, and the Beam Magnum trying to do a lot of work, but can't even get all 3 shots off itself.
Oh,
but still,
no.
with Devotion taken down, it's still Mafty with the unit advantage here. Good shots from Focus to keep Chaotic away. Mr. Big Large answering back with the kill onto Baronox, but it is still not one step closer to getting onto the site for the Mega Charge disarm.
Arrow popping that Hades is going to be the biggest threat. They have to deal with that immediately, and actually they do. The Trans Am a great counter to that Hades. This is going to be their chance to get the disarm. They take it. A great counter push by IQ at the last possible moment, especially getting around those few G maneuvers that they had to. The fact that Chaotic correctly chose the right target there was huge, but the pressure has not been lit up from Mafty at all. David's still in there. The G maneuvers up from David. They are just literally continuing the pressure as a continuous stream.
Funnels have been activated, but so has the Screaming Nimbus from Blue Jay, pushing the Sazabi away. This gives space for IQ to push forward, but the charge has been armed at B while all this action was happening. Blue Jay 4 HP trying to stay alive, but David is not going to let that happen. That's going to be the Dom Trooper taken out of commission for now. Devotion trying to spray through with his machine gun. Chaotic is also removed. 40 seconds left. IQ need to restabilize with a couple of members always seemingly in spawn, waiting to come out. It's going to be really, really hard.
But the waypoint retaken and then retaken. At the very minimum, somebody may have had to spawn within that time, or at least waited to spawn, just delaying the time a little bit. Exponent sitting here. This is going to be a huge pick, actually. Ender's going down, but, oh wait, not quite going down. That's huge. Ender's was at like 1 HP on the downed body. That might be enough here to be able to pick back up and confirm this full destruction.
8 seconds left in IQ. They're losing players. They're losing units by the minute. Baronox with the Trans Am activated has done some heavy work. Blue Jay is taken out, and it is not going to be. It's going to be another quick push, quick destruction. Round number 1. Mafty with a huge time advantage right now. If IQ can even get there, will they be able to match a minute and a half remaining?
What a mountain to climb, man. This is the ultimate mountain to climb. IQ has to deal with such an aggressive quick push. Now it's their turn to try to match that as well and then get 2 more full games afterwards. Look at the damage from basically the entirety of Mafty. That's their strength.
Yeah.
It comes from everybody on their team.
Yeah, and it's not just Focus on the Ashamar, it's also David on the Sazabi, whereas Big Large and Amano for IQ is not really surprising, but I'm starting to wonder, just looking at the numbers, you know, sample size, all that stuff, you can poke holes in this, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe the key to how strong Mafty are is just how much damage their tank is able to put out.
I know, it's so funny. We're just like, oh yeah, the tank and the unicorn, like the support, like they're the higher damage dealers sometimes, and that's one of the strengths of this game is that you can have these really high skill damage dealers in every single role on your team. One of the biggest reasons why I love Gundam Evolution, but right now we're just gonna have to see the ultimate plays from every single member of IQ. Is this gonna be a real pick on the Mahiru from Exponent? I kind of feel like not. I feel like we almost definitely have to see that Sazabi, but that would certainly be an interesting way to try to make this comeback.
I don't think you would trade the Sazabi for the Mahiru if that does happen.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I agree. Agreed.
On the Sazabi. A little bit of bait for us, but we're too smart for you. We didn't fall for it. A little bit of initial damage, but it's going to be the expected tunnel entrance over to the waypoint. A couple of members from Mafty are already there. How much are they going to stick around to contest it is the question.
This is a pretty good hold, seemingly. Yeah, I mean, okay, there's at least a lot of damage on the side of IQ. Like, they got chunked a little bit. Again, though, the fact that they've got that, the methods with them meant that they could heal most of it up, and just a quick retreat. Mafty never overcommitting. One of their greatest strengths.
Yeah, it's rare to see anyone on this map overcommit to holding the waypoint. Amano fights the first pick on the Baronox. That could be a huge opening to try and take this site, but Enders is here, of course, getting a lot of damage and charging up his own G maneuver as well, and Focus from the sky back at 30%. Mr. Big Large with his own aerial angle. Exponent pushing forward, but he has been taken so low, so fast. Arrow is going to remove him with the help of his entire team, and so IQ have to back away and reset because they lose their tank.
Oh, this is a big push from Chaotic. We've seen Chaotic be one of the more aggressive melee players of the entire tournament, really, and sometimes it works out, but just backs up. David, actually, with the super aggressive play. That shield is broken. On top of that, there's a melee on top of him, and Arrow and David and Enders all going down. This is for sure at least a hold. Oh, wait, but there's a plant. There's a plant. There we go.
Yeah, there's a plant. I thought that they were going to back away, but Amato was able to find the opening, gets a couple of kills himself, as well as them being able to isolate Baronox, who tried to sneak in from an opposing angle. So because of that, they can get the Mega Charge plant down. The problem is, can they hold it?
Ooh, it looks like this is a good position. This is very similar positioning to what we actually saw from Mafty in the previous round. This very forward hold where it's like, okay, you're going to be on the low ground no matter what if you try to approach from any single angle. But it looks like we got a couple of picks on the side of Mafty. They're getting close, but there's only maybe 40% left on this Mega Charge.
Yeah, and Mr. Big Lord just going huge. It doesn't matter that Amato's been taken out. He's been putting in a lot of work from the skies, from the Ashimar, and he is staying alive alongside of the Blue Jay, who's doing that big splash damage with the Dom Trooper rocket launcher. 14 seconds left, and Mafty haven't really been able to get any close to the site at all. Arrow's getting a little isolated, forced to dash away from the rockets of Blue Jay, and it seems to be a full reset on the side of Mafty. They're going to give this one up and play for site number 2. So IQ, at the very least, are able to successfully push and get the first charge demolished.
Oh, this is actually a lot better than I thought IQ was going to do based on how they did in that previous round, but they are just keeping the pressure on. The question is, can you break through this huge choke point? This is honestly one of the most difficult choke points in the entire game. We just rarely see it get here. X-Minute popping the G maneuver. Same thing with the energy cable, but immediately going down.
It's the beam tomahawk from the opposing Sazabi to remove the funnels from play. Arrow's trying to make up for it. Trying to take trying to take space that his own tank has cleared for him, and they're pushing IQ away from all of this. No Hades needing to be popped, and that's 3 G maneuvers, almost 4, almost 5 on the side of Mafty to stall out IQ's push as long as possible. Chaotic is going on in, trying to get some slashes, but immediately gets taken down.
That was a very aggressive push, and that's going to be a big stagger. Blue Jay is going to go down as well. Everybody else on the side of IQ is super low. David looking really comfortable here to take down Exponent, and this is once again a reset. This choke point, they've got a moment here to sit and regroup. They don't have to fight, but they're pushing in anyway. Mr. Big Large getting picked a little bit forward aside from the rest of the team. They've got 3.5 minutes. They've got time. They don't need to rush this. They need to just decide a strategy, build some G maneuver, and wait for the right moment.
Mafty are just teasing out this area. They're not full committing to holding this choke point, but they're dealing enough damage that IQ can't really find their own opportunities to push on in. I mean, you told us how hard this choke point was going to be to push through, and IQ are dealing with that just now. They didn't have the timing advantage that Mafty did on their own round of attack. But Hades at the ready for a mono. He might be willing to pop that, but he's the only G maneuver for his team, while there are 5 ready for the side of Mafty. Devotion pulls his own with the Beam Magnum. That's going to deal some good damage to push IQ away. Doesn't get a huge number of kills, but it's still the control that they're coveting.
At this point, the fact that they have so many means that they can stagger these G maneuvers. That's exactly what they're doing. They only committed to a single one, and that was enough to push back the entire team of IQ. Of course, that Unicorn G maneuver is going to be so important in this particular spot, any of these small hallways, as I always say. But they've got 4 left, and they might have 5 left by the time the next push happens with David.
We have Saris with the energy cables and Blue Jay with the Screaming Nimbus, but Enders pulls his first. It's going to be pushing IQ away. This is going to eat up so much time, because even if IQ can try and recover, they're going to be so far away from this side, they have to rush it down in order to get the Mega Charge arming.
Oh, but hold on here. IQ actually getting kind of the heads-up spot in this fight. A lot of it is a mono, of course, on this. Hades going to be picking off so many members of Mafty. Not only that, the energy cable G maneuver as well, getting the pickup just to add a little bit more support on top of that, and they have to ride this momentum towards the future. I mean, hey, that was a lot of G maneuvers on the side of Mafty. They're all gone now. David might have his soon, but now things are on even ground. There's a minute 30 left, plenty of time to make this push.
Transam activated for Chaotic, able to drop the David on the side of Mafty, but they still need to get the Mega Charge armed. It is going to be armed at A. The waypoint is taken, so if anyone dies on the side of IQ, they're going to be able to respawn significantly faster than we saw previously, but X-Men is able to corner Enders out with the help of Blue Jay. David trying to answer back. funnels activated, heavy damage, and the Mega Charge has been disarmed.
Oh no, there's only one big push left. There's 2 picks though down now. Mafty has lost the feed and focus at the same time, but there's just trading picks for picks, and at this point you can't win this with a skirmish. It has to be 1 full push, 1 full team kill, and then hold on to the entire point. Blue Jay right now taking a 1v2 that is just not advantageous, but managing to do quite well in it because of that health pack.
Oh man, point blank explosion, heavy damage onto the opposing team. Blue Jay doing really good work on that Dom Trooper to keep Mafty away from their area. They still need to get the Mega Charge rearmed, but Baranox, reclaiming space for his team and reclaiming control of this health pack. A very important feature to be able to play around it is these health packs. But here comes the funnels coming on in, trying to refight for the waypoint. Exponent dealing some heavy damage, but they gotta get onto the side in order to get the charge planted.
Only 5 seconds left. This is the tournament life here for IQ. They're going to lose Exponent. There's nobody left. There's going to get a plant at least started, but is there any chance? It is down on B. It is down on B. They've lost a few members, but so have Mafty. This is going to all come down to who can stay in that current positioning, and Baranox right now just barely surviving. Blue Jay using this G maneuver to successfully push at least a few more members away. They have to make this plant work. This is their only chance here, and they've got quite a few members still up, but they've got to use these G maneuvers right now.
Chaotic has a chance at the ready, but he was discovered a lot earlier than I think he was hoping for. He now get isolated and can't be that sort of main final control of the site, and the Mega Charge is being disarmed. Devotion here with the damage in the body block, and the disarm is going to come on in. Mafty take the map, they take the series, they take the event. They are your event number 2 grand champions.
Very impressive, as usual, from Mafty. Exactly what we've come to expect from them. I gotta give a shout out to IQ. They, especially in those final 2 games of the set, really put it to Mafty 100%. By far the best showings that we've ever had against Mafty, and I think they were just a few good fights, maybe one good fight away in every single one of those situations from being able to take any one of those rounds. But Mafty remains undefeated. They remain the top dog. Nobody has held a candle to them quite yet. We're getting closer, but they absolutely earned their double championship spot.